Hi, I'm Bob Herbert, host of CUNY Television's OpEd.tv. The SEEK program is an essential part of CUNY, which has a proud and extremely important history. Established in 1847 as the Free Academy, CUNY has long been the primary higher education portal for waves of immigrants and other lower-income New Yorkers. That crucial educational opportunity opened the doors to a middle-class standard of living, not just for the school's graduates, but for their children and grandchildren as well. The alternative, in many cases, would have been lives lived in poverty, defined by the limits of menial employment, and lacking the intellectual and artistic advantages that accompany a college degree. Today, the importance of City University is as great or greater than it has ever been. At a time when a college education is a virtual prerequisite for a middle-class standard of living, nearly half of all New Yorkers are poor or living just a notch or two above the poverty line. When college is not accessible, the primary escape route out of that poverty is closed off. The state and city must protect the school's historic role as a cornerstone of educational and financial opportunity. CUNY is critical in overcoming the extremes of income inequality that, unchecked, can tear societies apart. We have to keep CUNY's high quality and affordability for our fellow New Yorkers who come from low-income families, who are immigrants, who are members of racial and ethnic minority groups, and who hunger, as young people always have, for the advantages that only a first-rate education can bring.
When my mother and I found out that I got accepted to Baruch, we were ecstatic. College opens up multiple doors for you, and while my mother didn't know exactly what those doors were, I didn't know what those doors were. We knew that there were doors that were going to be open.
SEEK was a program that came out of the struggle of the 60s, when we fought for more blacks to be included in higher ed.
When I took over the chancellorship, the institutions seemed to be catering to primarily white students.
It was unfair. Because you went to a poor elementary or poor junior high school, you were doomed for the rest of your academic career.
So we decided to set up a program under which we would have criteria that would enable these young people to be admitted to the City University and receive special courses and special programs to bring them up to par to the other kids.
We wanted to create a program so that the injured of our society could occupy positions of power.
The moment of truth has finally arrived in America.
The Black, Puerto Rican, and Hispanic caucus went to the Speaker's office really to push during budget time to ensure that the budget included funding for their young people that were seeking to go to college, as the program well is named, SEEK.
Much is made of the so-called midnight march.
We went in to see Tony Travia in the DeWitt Clinton Hotel, sitting in a small room led by Percy Sutton and Shirley Chisholm. We explained to him that there would be the inability for him to be re-elected Speaker if our votes were not available. So that night, the SEEK program was born.
Republicans joined Democrats in this endeavor.
One must have to give a lot of credit to Julius Edelstein.
Julius was the go-between between the Black and Puerto Rican caucus and the legislature itself.
I thought we had a moral obligation to reach out and bring those children in.
Arthur Eve, God bless him, took all of this and went into the state colleges and expanded it far beyond my belief at the time we did it.
I give God and Percy Sutton credit for starting SEEK, EOP, HEOP, because if that was not in the budget, I don't think I was smart enough to have developed and do all the research and come up with the finding.
Over 300,000 people who wouldn't have gone to college went because of SEEK. The SEEK program gave them academic support, counseling, and financial aid to be successful in college.
Not only did we contribute to the intellectual capital of this city, to the professionalism of this city, to the economic capital of this city, we have been a tremendous asset.
I don't think if I wouldn't have been a Sikh student, I would have had the privilege to become the first Dominican American elected across the United States in a state house.
As an assemblywoman, it's my job to provide families with hope. And SEEK was hope for me. And that's what we should be doing in government, provide families with hope and not let people know in certain communities that it's a dead end.
It transformed higher education. It made it from something that was basically the exclusionary kind of property of whites to something that has to be shared.
SEEK is needed even more today because of the wide gap between haves and have-nots. The challenges that Black and Latino males face in entering the middle class, especially finding jobs, means that we need programs like SEEK that enable them to enter the mainstream.
I grew up in a single-parent household. I am a first-generation college student and graduate. My mother worked extremely hard to make sure that I had adequate shelter and also make sure that I did really well in school. She signed every single homework assignment up until high school.
She walked me to school throughout my entire academic tenure and up until high school.
Because school was the way out for us. It was a safe haven. It was a place where I knew that if I performed well, I can move to a place that was maybe a lot more comforting or a lot more comfortable for me. I knew that I wanted to do accounting. I knew that I wanted to stay local. Baruch College would be an ideal place to attend. And so I applied to Baruch through the SEEK program and also through the UMLA program, the Urban Male Leadership Academy program, and got accepted. It's a place where you're surrounded by people who are just as motivated, just as passionate about school as you are. I was able to work with Christy Perez, who is amazing, wonderful, a big part of my success at Baruch College.
He was a born leader. Jeffrey was part of the first pilot program for the Urban Male Leadership Academy Scholars Program. So it's a program designed to develop the leadership and academic excellence of Black and Latino young men within SEEK and Baruch.
I have greatly benefited from this program, and as president of its advisory board, I've seen the impact it has on young men of color, as well as its ripple effect.
When I got the full-time offer, I was so excited. The only thing that I could think about was calling my mother. When you talk about opening doors, this was the door. This was the door that was open for us, an opportunity at an entirely new life. I'm an analyst at Goldman Sachs in its Human Capital Management division, and I work on strategic business issues. It's great. It's fast-paced. It's demanding. It's challenging. People are welcoming. People make you feel like you're really part of the team. I understand how much this program has done for so many people. And Percy Ellis Sutton's goal and mission was to make sure that students like myself had access to education. I understand that I stand on the shoulder of giants.
It's 50 years of success, 50 years of empowerment, 50 years of opening the doors of knowledge to so many people across this system. And we need to make a greater investment in SEEK And we need to open up even more doors, because that's the only way that we tap into the real future and the real capacity of our young people.
I was selected by the President of the United States to be a delegate to one of the most important conferences that the United States engages in. It was then called the G7 conference. And I went there. And when I got to South Africa, there were numerous young people who were doing advanced work, who came to celebrate with me to talk about how beneficial the Sikh program had been and to thank me for my participation. Now, I don't remember all of the people who were in the Midnight March, but I can tell you this, they did. They remembered. They were not there, but they remembered.